Applying for residency is really complicated, regardless of where you're applying or what specialty. In addition to all the things that you have to compile, your CV, transcripts, letters of recommendation, all of those things, you also have to write a compelling personal statement. And a lot of people find this very, very challenging, one of the most challenging components of the overall application. So there is a lot of weight on the personal statement. It can make or break your application. This is where you get to give the evaluators a sort of inside look as to who you are as a person, not just who you are on paper in terms of the numerical things that are evaluated. So today I'm going to go over just a few things that should be covered in your personal statement for residency. I'm going to read a sample personal statement for residency that you might find useful in terms of building your own, and then I'll talk about how to address maybe negative circumstances or sort of things that didn't go as planned, and why taking control of that narrative is usually advisable. So first, just some little bit of background and specifics. Whether you're applying in the US through ARIS or through CaRMS in Canada, many programs are going to require you to do this personal statement. Some will send you specific instructions or a prompt for what they want you to talk about in the statement. Others won't give you a statement or a prompt at all, and you'll just have to sort of decide what you want to talk about. The statement itself needs to be within a one-page limit, so around 750 to 800 words, which really isn't a lot of room to say all the things that you probably want to say. So concision and precision are very important here. The one thing that you must indicate is why you're applying to a particular program and how you came to that decision. What are the specific reasons for choosing the specialty that you're trying to get into? What experiences have you had in that specialization? And what sorts of experiences have you had, not just in that particular field or specialization, but in the city where you're applying? That's not necessarily something that would make or break your application, but knowing that you have roots or at least foundations or ties within that location indicates that you have a net of social support on which you can draw during something that's going to be a very long and hard part of your overall education and professionalization. You can also include what your own goals are in terms of learning and your future career plans. You can talk about personal strengths, things that you think that you uniquely can bring to the program. Any significant research contributions, publications, presentations that you've done, and you can also take the opportunity to address any gaps that might exist in your education or evaluations that were less than ideal. So before I talk about those more negative aspects, let me go through a personal statement for you. And I'm just going to read this so you can take notes as you go along and really pay attention not just to what is being addressed, but how these things are being addressed. First, a sip of my tea, though. All right. So this is a sample of a personal statement from family medicine. So, or for family medicine. So, during the pre-clerkship years of study in medical school, I enjoyed learning about the many specialties within medicine and actively considered pursuing several of them. I was drawn to the complex pharmacology of the drugs used by anesthesiologists, the acuity of care faced by emergency medicine physicians, and the complicated medical issues of patients cared for by internal medicine specialists. I also found myself interested in psychiatrists' thorough history taking and the technical skills in performing procedures exhibited by surgeons. It started becoming clear to me that I was interested in many different areas of medicine. I began realizing that I wanted a career that combined the many things I enjoyed in different specialties. A family physician has the flexibility to practice all of these facets of medicine. As clerkship drew nearer, I knew I wanted to gain more clinical experience in family medicine to see if it would be a good fit for me. So let me pause there. That was the introductory paragraph to this personal statement. So again, thinking about how things were done as much as what was actually done. So this individual displayed a wide range of curiosity and isolated particular traits or qualities that they identified with in different programs. Complexity, acuity of care, the ability to solve multiple problems all at once or take on multiple perspectives, the history taking of psychiatrists where you're getting really deeply acquainted with the patient, and then the technical skills mentioned in terms of surgeons. So this demonstrates a person who has reflected on what kinds of things are necessary and prioritized within different fields in the subset of medicine itself, and who displays passion and curiosity, not just in an abstract way, but in a concrete way by identifying those particular qualities that they want to pursue further. So, moving on to the second paragraph. My clinical experiences in family medicine were fantastic. I worked with family physicians and family medicine residents not only during my core family medicine rotation and family medicine electives, but also during my psychiatry, surgery, anesthesiology, and pediatrics rotations. These clinical experiences confirmed my belief that family medicine is a diverse and exciting specialty. Family physicians, while maintaining a broad base of medical knowledge, can tailor their practices to the needs of their communities and to their own interests and areas of expertise. During my family medicine rotation and electives, I also found myself greatly enjoying my encounters with patients. I enjoyed hearing patients' stories and sorting through their many medical and psychosocial issues. I'm also a naturally fastidious person. Being a thorough history taker and a meticulous recorder of details helps me in formulating a complete story about a patient. My joy in interacting with patients and my attention to detail allow me to appreciate patients as people, not just as disorders or diseases. I am both interested in learning about and have a certain affinity for family medicine clinical experiences. Pursuing a career in this specialty is an obvious choice for me. Again, so we'll pause. So that's second paragraph. So the first paragraph talked about the about knocked my computer off the table. Talked about the wide scope of possible paths that this person might pursue based on their interests. Now the second paragraph gets more specific, focuses specifically on what they're applying to right now, which is family medicine. Again, they're addressing this not just in the abstract, but concretely, talking about specific experiences that they've had and what they've taken away from those experiences. They're connecting the duties that need to be done with their joy and enthusiasm about the position. They make mention of day-to-day things like record keeping, paying attention to details, exercising one's broad medical knowledge, and things like that, but they also emphasize that patient-physician relationship. That is crucially important. In today's medical schools, future doctors who understand just how critical that relationship is are greatly valued. So look into that if you haven't already, and definitely speak to it if it's something that you particularly value and want to cultivate as a medical professional. Moving on, paragraph 3. The versatility and diversity of family practice initially drew my interest, but the wonderful encounters I had with family physicians solidified my desire to pursue a career in this specialty. These family physicians have not only been skilled and knowledgeable clinicians, but also variously dedicated teachers, researchers, and administrators. They were committed to improving their clinical skills by attending continuing education lectures and courses. They practiced patient-centered care and were knowledgeable about community resources that may help their patients. They worked cooperatively with other healthcare professionals to improve patient care. Importantly, these physicians have also been friendly and approachable towards both learners and patients. The family physicians I have worked with also strive toward a healthy work-life balance. All of them seem to have many interests and hobbies outside of their professions. These clinicians demonstrated to me what being a family physician involves, practicing both the science and art of medicine, advocating for patients, guiding patients through the healthcare system, being committed to improving clinical knowledge, and, importantly, maintaining one's own health and happiness. Pause. So here, they've demonstrated that they have specific concrete knowledge of the profession itself, not just through their rotations and their working with patients, but through their specific interactions with people in this specialization. Again, highlighting qualities that they value and thus qualities they would want to cultivate within themselves, that patient-centered care, that continuous education, and the ability to sort of take one's education and do something with it in terms of teaching or educating others. As well, they show that they understand some of the realities of the position in terms of the load that people must carry. Maintaining that work-life balance, practicing good self-care, prioritizing one's own health and happiness are all absolutely fine and necessary. So demonstrating that you have already started to understand what contributes to that balance or what contributes to throwing that balance off is a good thing to demonstrate. It also shows that you know that you have to take care of yourself in order to be able to take care of others effectively. So moving on to the final paragraph. Being sure of the specialty I want to pursue is the first step in my career. There are many learning opportunities ahead. This program's family medicine residency program is attractive in so many ways. The protected academic days, the opportunity to participate in research, and most importantly, the clinical curriculum all appeal to me. I believe the solid foundation of family medicine experience, as well as the exposure to other specialties, alongside the opportunities to build the skills necessary for lifelong learning through the academic experiences and research, make this an ideal program for me. On a personal note, I grew up in this town and did my undergraduate studies at a nearby university, or at this university, and I would be thrilled to return to my hometown and a university already familiar to me. My career goals after finishing residency include having a community-based urban family practice and being actively involved in teaching residents and medical students. I'm also open to being involved in research and administration. Career goals, however, may change as I progress through my training. I am excited to begin the next stage of medical training and begin my residency in family medicine. So the final statement here is, again, bringing everything to a clean close, identifying aspects of the particular program and curriculum that are attractive to the students, showing that they've done their sort of homework in terms of actually looking into the program at the specific university. They are fortunate to mention that they are from this town and went to this university, so they have that connection to the area. And they also express that openness, right? When you're starting your specialization and thinking about your future career goals, stating that in a personal statement doesn't mean that you're signing a contract, that is what you're going to do in terms of your career. Things will change over time, and that's just natural. Maybe you'll end up doing the exact same thing that you think you want to do now, and that's fine. Maybe you'll change your mind. That's fine too. At this stage of education, you already know how different things become at each level of education and how much deeper and more trenchant and more complex our thinking becomes, and therefore, that is going to reflect on the decisions that we make and where we want to go with that education. So overall, this particular example demonstrates exactly what the applicant wants in terms of entering a particular specialization. Their intention is very clearly stated. They talk about the specialty from sort of an insider perspective, understanding what's entailed, but also what they like. They gave specific examples. They weren't just vague or abstract, and they connected directly to the program. They've looked into the curriculum, the campus, etc. Now, let's say you have something in your academic history that you're not entirely proud of. You had to take a leave of absence. You got a less than ideal evaluation. So, that happens. Certainly, some people, things happen in life, and some people have to take breaks, have to step away for a while. Sometimes you don't perform as well on an exam as you hoped you would, and that is, to an extent, understandable. Again, you don't have to be perfect to be a strong candidate, but What you do want to do is control the narrative around that. Those things are going to come up in your application. If it's something on your transcripts, they're going to see that. If it's something in your record, they're going to see that. If it's a leave of some kind, they're going to see that. There's no way that you can hide these things from the application evaluators and the admissions committee. So being upfront, being clear, and giving your account of the situation is very, very important. Note that your account should be unemotional or as objective as possible. You should use positive language, and whenever you're talking about something negative or something unfortunate, you always want to frame it in a positive way. What you learned, how you grew, why you're a better person today for having gone through that. So whether it's a leave of absence, failing an exam, repeating a course, something like that, if you are concerned about any aspect of your application throwing up a red flag, then it's probably in your best interest just to address it head on. Whether you do this or not is certainly up to you, but if you think that a weakness is going to hurt your chances of getting in, then usually it's beneficial to take control of the narrative, own the problem, and again, demonstrate why this has made you better today, what you've learned, how you grew, how you can acknowledge your faults and respond to them positively. And so this makes gives you an opportunity to explain some gaps or negative things in your history, but it also demonstrates your maturity and your ability to be resilient when you come up against a failure or limitation, that you're able to find the overall lesson in areas where maybe you didn't do as well as you would have liked. So make sure that you budget a good amount of time for this personal statement. You need to go through several drafts. Remember, this is only 750 to 800 words approximately. That really isn't a lot of room, and you have a lot to say. So giving yourself ample time, going through multiple drafts, getting expert feedback, all of these things are going to be very, very helpful in making sure that you are demonstrating your best self in your personal statement. So I hope that you enjoyed this video and that it was helpful. If so, please do like it, share it with a friend who might benefit from it, and be sure to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, and look for us on a variety of other social media. If you'd like us to help you with your residency prep or any other aspect of the applications and admissions process, please do click the link that should appear above or below the video and see our programs and schedule a free initial consultation. We'll set you up with one of our admissions experts to answer any questions you might have and get you started on your preparations. We have programs to suit any of your needs, and we are happy to work with you to determine which plan will support you most effectively. As ever, thank you very much for your time. Take good care, and I'll see you next time.